This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The Prime Minister says we're not privatizing BPL. Davis says strategic partners being brought in to fix the problems at the Electricity Corporation. Meanwhile, BPL's managers union pressing the government for full disclosure. And a sick out at BPL. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Duquesa Dean will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll have more on what's happening with BPL and Morning Blend Business. We're talking with the Electrical Workers Union President, Kyle Wilson. More on what he knows and what he can say this morning. Before that, though, we'll talk about prostate cancer, a number of high-profile cases in the news locally and internationally, what you need to know. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning.
Wake up, it's a new day.
In the overnight, Prime Minister Philip Davis says his administration is not privatizing BPL, but he failed to detail his plans for the beleaguered power provider. Anxiety amongst BPL employees is at a boiling point amid reports that the Davis administration plans to transfer the management of the transmission, distribution, and generation of electricity at BPL to private entities. Both BPL unions have voiced fierce opposition to such a move. Well, the Prime Minister asked yesterday by the National Guardian about his plans for BPL, but he declined to say anything further. Last week, Bahamas Electrical Workers Union President Kyle Wilson said that BPL employees were in a state of panic and that staff were frustrated by what they've learned so far. Not content with assurances from the Prime Minister that there will be no layoffs and that union agreements will be honored and pension benefits and other worker commitments met after strategic partners are brought in, President of the Electrical Utility Managerial Union, Christopher Hanna, writing the Prime Minister requesting full disclosure of the government's plans for the public utility. The letter was written to the Prime Minister the day after he met with concerned union officials on Saturday. Hanna states in the letter that the BEUMU strongly opposes the projects that the administration outlined during the meeting and the fact that they got limited information. Hannah saying in the letter, quote, "While we applaud the end result of lowering the energy costs for all Bahamians, the ends certainly do not justify the means. The tactics that you intend to employ operate outside of our established industrial agreement and remove the protections for the workers, or in other words, it is blatant union busting. We are disappointed that once again the workers of this company have been left out of the development of these projects, which will directly impact our livelihoods. We have seen this strategy employed time and time again with worsening results every time." And amid heightened tensions over the government's plans for BPL employees called in sick, we're told, forcing officials to pivot to avoid any customer service or operational issues yesterday. The action coming just 3 days after members of the unions met with the Prime Minister to express their concerns over lack of transparency surrounding planned arrangements with private entities. A judge setting a new trial date for an American woman accused of plotting with her lover and a third man to kill her estranged husband, Lindsay Shiver, her alleged lover, Terrence Bethel, and Farron Newbold Jr., who was allegedly enlisted to carry out the scheme, had their March 4th trial date vacated due to the ongoing trial of Long Island MP Adrian Gibson and 4 others. Prosecutors say that the trio conspired to murder Robert Shiver on July 16th in the midst of contentious divorce. The new trial date is set for July 1st. However, defense lawyer Damien Gomez KC says that an unnamed lawyer who was joining the case wouldn't be available until October. Despite this, Grant Thompson kept the July trial date. The matter will be called on May 1st for case management and June 5th for pretrial review before the scheduled trial. The accused remain free on bail. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that 5 members of the diplomatic staff posted in Haiti returned to New Providence for consultations. A statement from the ministry is saying that the chargé d'affaires and 2 security attachés remain in post and will continue to monitor the ongoing situation in Port-au-Prince. Overseas, sticking with Haiti, heavily armed gangs tried to seize control of Haiti's main international airport Monday, exchanging gunfire with police and soldiers in the latest attack on key government sites in an explosion of violence that includes a mass escape from the country's 2 biggest prisons. The airport was closed when the attack occurred, with no planes operating and no passengers on site. Associated Press journalists saw an armored truck on the tarmac shooting at gangs to try to prevent them from entering airport grounds, as scores of employees and other workers fled from them and their whizzing bullets. It wasn't immediately clear as of late Monday whether the attack, which was the biggest one in Haiti's history involving the airport, was successful. Last week, the airport was struck briefly by bullets amid ongoing gang attacks, but gangs did not enter the airport nor seize control of it. The attack occurred just hours after authorities in Haiti ordered a nighttime curfew following violence in which armed gang members overran the 2 biggest prisons and freed thousands of inmates. A 72-hour state of emergency began Sunday night. The government says it would try to track down the escaped inmates, including from a penitentiary where the majority were in pretrial detention, with some accused of slayings, kidnappings, and other crimes. Gangs already were estimated to control up to 80% of Port-au-Prince. They are increasingly coordinating their attacks and choosing once unthinkable targets like the central bank. Prime Minister Ariel Henry traveled to Kenya last week to try to salvage support for a United Nations-backed security force to help stabilize Haiti and its conflict with the increasingly powerful crime groups. In sports, from the NFL, 2 years ago, Russell Wilson exuberantly declared that he intended to play a dozen years in Denver and double the tree of Lombardi trophies in the Broncos lobby. Well, general manager George Patton was equally dizzy, thrilled to send 4 premium draft picks and 3 players to Seattle for a younger, healthier version of Peyton Manning, and excited to sign the Super Bowl winning quarterback to that $242 million extension 6 months later. Well, acquiring Wilson turned out to be the biggest miscalculation in franchise history. He won just 11 of his 30 starts and witnessed both the coaching and quarterback carousels continue to churn in Denver, which hasn't been to the playoffs since winning Super Bowl 50 on February 7th, 2016. Wilson endured his worst season under Nathaniel Hackett in 2022, but bounced back under Sean Payton in 2023, only to get benched for the final 2 games. On Monday, the Broncos informed Wilson they'd release him next week when the new league year begins. The divorce will be a costly one for the Broncos. They still owe Wilson his $39 million salary for 2024, minus whatever he'd sign for with another team, which would likely be the veteran's minimum salary of $1.21 million. The Broncos also will take a record $89 million hit in dead cap charges over the next 2 seasons, which will crimp their roster, building as they seek to end an 8-year playoff drought that's featured 6 head coaches and 13 starting quarterbacks since Manning retired a month after the franchise's 3rd Super Bowl title. And Jason Kelce needed only seconds to burst into tears. Kelce's eyes flooded each time he relayed a story about backyard football games with his brother, the love he felt from his parents, and devotion for his coaches. All the memories, the wins, the brotherhood, both with his fellow Eagles players and younger brother Travis, near him, consuming him to the point where he needed about 45 minutes to reach the inevitable conclusion that everyone inside the crowded auditorium yesterday knew was coming, that he was about to retire. The 36-year-old Kelce officially called it quits Monday at the Eagles' NovaCare complex, ending a 13-year career spent entirely with the Philadelphia Eagles, in which he became not only one of the great centers of his era, who played in a key role in the franchise's lone Super Bowl championship, but a beloved Philly personality and popular podcast host as well. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first good weather brought to you by Easy Car Sales. We've got a surface trough across the northwest Bahamas that's going to support some shower activity before it lifts north of the area by this afternoon. Meanwhile, a ridge of high pressure will continue to generate moderate to fresh breezes over the islands. Beachgoers and boaters should exercise caution due to swells and an elevated risk of rip currents, especially along eastern shorelines and Atlantic exposures. Your forecast for today for the northwest and central Bahamas, variably cloudy, warm, and a bit breezy with isolated showers and a few possible thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft caution in effect due to swells. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet near shore, and in sheltered areas, but building up to 7 feet offshore and along Atlantic exposures in easterly swells. For the southeast Bahamas today, partly sunny, warm, and breezy with the chance of a stray shower or two, turning fair and mild at night. Small craft caution in effect, winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet in northeast to easterly swells. Temperature-wise, today we are looking at highs getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Currently in Nassau, it is about 72 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We're looking at lows getting back down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 tonight. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and look at traffic coming up in just a bit. This first look at weather brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Feel the power of the electric revolution. Swing by Easy Car Sales for a test drive in an electric vehicle. It's a ride you won't forget. Visit easy242.com and see where an electric future can take you. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up. Wake up, it's a new.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Duquessadine.
Good
Duquessadine, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, everyone.
Great to have you with us. Hope you're doing well.
It's a beautiful day. You can see the time is about to change, right?
Yeah,
that was
definitely.
nice. Wasn't so dark leaving this morning.
Not ready to lose that hour this
I know,
weekend.
right?
Not ready for
You'll
that
be
at all.
springing forward.
But every year I keep praying that it'll be the last time we do
Oh,
this. That we
man.
will stay with daylight time. Just leave it.
Just stay with the springtime.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Leave it. We have our longer evenings.
Yes.
And,
Hopefully they hear us this time.
well, who's the they?
I don't know. Whoever the powers are.
Well, that's the United
That'd be-
States. And it's up to their elected officials to decide to agree once and for all.
That's just so crazy because
And,
some of their states do it and some don't. It's really
But they
crazy.
can't agree on whether to stay with standard time or daylight time. That's another problem. But we know whatever they decide, our people here will go along with it merrily, which is so disturbing because we don't have to wait for them. But that's just how it is.
Yep, that's how it's always
In
been.
our wonderfully independent
Yes.
Bahamas. But hey, we can dream. All right, coming up this morning, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about prostate cancer. A lot of high-profile cases internationally and locally recently. And we need to get that message out about men's health there. We're going to be talking about that this morning. And later in business, it's the hot story. Everybody wondering what's going on with BPL. And Bahamas Electrical Workers Union President Kyle Wilson will be joining us this morning. And we'll get into that. So a lot to get to on this Tuesday morning. But let's talk about what else is in the news. And in the news, there really is not that much to talk about other than BPL. That is the hot story. Everybody wondering what is going on. But there's a lot of not much being said, though. All we know is that a PPP, a public-private partnership, is in the works. a strategic partnership. That's what the Prime Minister is saying. And details are
Sketchy.
Scarce, not much.
But we need to know.
But we do need to know. We do need to know. Whatever the unions know, they are freaking out. They're not. They are very concerned about their future and what's going on. And now we're hearing that there might have been a sick-out yesterday. Our Candia Dame's writing about it in today's NASA Guardian. Amid heightened tensions over the government's planned deal to outsource Bahamas Power and Light's generation and transmission and distribution systems, some BPL employees called in sick yesterday, forcing company officials to pivot to avoid any customer service or operational issues. The action came 3 days after members of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union and the Bahamas Electrical Utility Managerial Union met to express worries over the lack of transparency to date surrounding the planned arrangements with private entities. Despite assurances from Prime Minister Philip Davis that all union contracts will be honored and no layoffs will take place, the leaders of BPL's unions say they took no comfort given that details of the deal have yet to be revealed, and they've received no guarantees in writing. The NASA Guardian unable to confirm how many workers failed to show up for work across the country, but there was no evidence the action had any major negative impact on BPL's operation. Now, asked whether the action was called by the union, Kyle Wilson, the workers' union president, said, quote, "As you can see, there is no discomfort to the payment people. That's enough to tell you that the union in no way seeks to discomfort the public just because of this cross within the company. And so that's it. The union hasn't called for anything. When we do, you will know." BPL's communications director, Arnett Ingram, did not speak specifically to the sick-out, but said the company wanted to ensure customers were not inconvenienced in any way. She told the NASA Guardian, quote, "This is the beginning of the month, which is technically when we see a higher customer volume coming into our Blue Hill Road location. So we're bringing in additional resources to make sure that our customers are able to pay their bills and they're not negatively impacted by anything that's going on with our operations. BPL is managing its operations in New Providence and the Family Islands to accommodate our customers. We're addressing any customer service as well as generation and transmission and distribution needs across all our operations. So if we had an instance where there is a customer who may experience outages, we're addressing those. For customers coming to pay their bills, we're making sure that we're addressing all of their needs." Now, there was a mobile cash-and-go truck outside BPL's headquarters in New Providence yesterday to assist with facilitating the payment of bills. Asked about future backup plans, Ingram said BPL is managing operations to make sure there is minimal to no impact to our customers. And we continue to work with both the BEMU, and BEWU in good faith. BEMU is the managerial union. In good faith, and we're sure that our employees will work along with us to make sure that there's no impact to our operations. Okay.
I don't know. Like, why can't we know?
Yeah, this is, I wonder, people, do you think this is strange? That why not lay it out there for everybody at the same time? This is what we're considering. This is what we're hoping for. And that, or do we feel that there's no reason for debate here? The government just wants to do what it wants to do, and this is what they feel is right. And they have the mandate to do this, and so this is it.
Right.
We're going to fix it, and bam, take it, that's it.
Right. I mean, not right. But I mean, okay, let's just be real. BPL has been plagued with issues over the years. And, you know, every year it seems to get, to me, progressively worse, particularly during the summer months. Maybe this is their way of saying we're trying to be proactive and resolve some situations prior to when the demand peaks. However, more transparency would allow both the employees and us as consumers to feel that we either know what's going on and have a comfort level, or to be able to say, hey, maybe, you know, hear us out on what some of those recommended action steps are that the company is about to take. But certainly the employees should know that this is what's going to happen. Why not outline who the company is and what the contract looks like, what role they're going to play. This is, nothing against this government. The government came in with transparency as its mandate. And so if we are saying we are being a transparent government, then let's just share the information, especially with the relevant stakeholders.
Right. Yeah, that's a great idea. It's good to know. Often after they reveal these companies, people do their digging, including the media, and find out about all the foolishness that was going on with this company years ago. Boy. Let's hear from you. What do you think about it? 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. This person on our text line says, Dwight, we need to privatize BPL and have the new owners convert to a pay-as-you-go model. If you pay for $100, then you only get $100. It's like your rule in your car.
I don't know.
What that last part means, but okay, pay as you go. I mean, that should be an option, though, right?
Yeah.
And they've said this before that they
Yeah.
were going to do that. Prepaid electricity was going to be an offer. Just like how phone companies allow you to pick if you want prepaid or postpaid.
Correct.
I guess that should be the way it should be for electricity
even
too.
prepaid credit cards.
Exactly. But you don't have only one.
Right.
So I'm sure a lot of people won't like that prepaid system.
But have a choice. There are some people who may want to have those limits and controls in place for them so that they manage more efficiently the use of their electricity. And there are some people where, they don't want that limit. They want to use as much as they want and pay it at the end. So just allow people to have the option.
Okay.
Yeah.
This texter says, why doesn't BPL follow the process of privatization like the airport, the dump, the port? I mean, it's an interesting word, privatization, right? Which is private management. Yes, that's what you mean. Okay. They're saying this is a successful model like the cruise port. Yeah. Okay. They tried it before. They have. They're hoping, it seems, is it what they're trying to do again? We will see.
Yeah.
Call in 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, my friend. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Yeah, private partnership is the key, like the texter said. The government going to have to follow this pattern with the other corporations like Bahamas there, water and sewage and national flight services. I think the government needs to move ahead gradually and proceed with private partnership so they can focus on other issues with the country, especially with their budgetary constraints. They'll be able to tackle other issues. We'll have more efficiency, because right now we're pumping a lot of monies into these entities, and we're not going anywhere. So I think that private partnership is very important. Thank you.
I hear you. Thank you very much. You think anybody wants to do that with Bahamas Air? I don't know. I think they would want
Bahamas Air and BPL.
BPL, I can see it. But, okay, interesting. No, I don't know. Some more text messages. This person says here, maybe the electricity bills last year were intentionally high to frustrate us. Wow. So that we would be so desperate to sell our birthright for a bowl of porridge. Yes, change at BPL is necessary, like yesterday, but we cannot sell our souls on empty promises either. How much is $100 worth? We just need to empower Bahamians. Well, we know they were high because of the fuel.
Yeah, the fuel surcharge.
But again, a decision was made, and that caused it to be high. So maybe you're onto something. I don't know. This person says, I'm inclined to agree with the union in that there are perhaps Bahamians who can run the company. I've been saying it and will continue to say it. Look at what has become of the dump. Well, I don't know if that's a Bahamian company.
What's become of the dump? I miss it.
It's well managed, but is
okay.
that correct?
I think they have a management company, but I don't
think it's,
I don't know they're all Bahamian.
But okay, I hear you. Where are they? What are they doing now? Are they at BPL, the people who could do it, or where are they? And maybe they can do it. Maybe they are BPL if the government would stay out of it, which often is a challenge. Every 5 years,
Right.
the goals at BPL change.
Yes.
The strategies they use change every single time we have an administration change. So maybe the people are right there. Maybe they are extremely talented, but stifled by politics.
Yeah.
Like everything else in this country. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
All right. I mean, for me, just the question we should be asking, do we need private, or is the government the problem that we don't hold people accountable and responsible for their duties?
It could be both.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like they say, I see a couple of callers use Bahamas and a couple other entities as an example, which in Bahamas is bleeding money through their nose. You have places like NAD, which I feel like it's a cop-out for the government because at the same time they have more say, but they blame it on the shareholders or the private company that they put in control. At the same time, they still telling them what to do, but at the same time, they're not telling the whole truth behind it, because when NAD first came in, they had all of their leading personnel, like their presidents and person who was leading their account. They stole millions of dollars from NAD.
What?
Yeah.
Right now, this is a serious accusation.
They stole them, yes.
Okay, well, I can't.
You can check up on it. They stole millions of dollars, left the company,
all right, so,
and head back Canada. But nobody was held accountable.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, caller. Some claims there I can't verify. Oh, boy. So what are you saying? That private partnerships, public-private partnerships won't work? Okay. Okay. This person says, BPL, I see you're sick out and I raise you. I ain't paying my bill.
No, it's not the same.
No. Plus, BPL PR worked hard to show you that there was no impact yesterday as a result of any alleged sick out. So
don't raise them, bro.
Don't come with that one. You could not pay your bill.
You will be without electricity.
Right, sitting in the dark. Hope you like that. Wow. All right. Please review the Public Procurement Act for the exceptions to the competitive bidding process, notwithstanding the need for change with respect to BPL. If this money does not arise from an international lending agency such as the IDB, etc., that has their own procurement process, this PPP should have been put out to tender. Where's the accountability and transparency? Yeah, they did put out some stuff, but was it as wide-ranging as what we are hearing now? That's the question. So, this person says, whoever they choose, they need to let it be a man. What now?
What's the reason?
Oh, God, this is a stupid text.
Oh.
Because the last woman who ran it spent tons on makeup. Okay, you don't know what you're talking about.
Crazy. And there's a woman running it now.
First of all, you're very silly, texter. You don't know what you're talking about.
What makeup have to do with it?
What man? These are companies with many people. So you're mixing up stories. You're talking about a board chairperson, and that was not accurate. And the previous private entity. That's just the CEO. So what are you talking about? Come on, man. Just stop and don't send these text messages to somebody else. I mean, I needed you all to hear that though.
They do
because
it just to frustrate you.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
They have to.
They need to frustrate you people, everybody out there, especially women, because there are men out there texting people foolishness like this, and you want to go marry them and have children with them.
No.
Huh?
No.
What?
No.
Wow. Okay, let's take this call. Good morning. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Duquesa.
Good morning.
Dwight, man, Dwight used my cousin, distant cousin from Ramkey, right? But sometimes you, of course, we have a question mark, you know.
Oh, yeah?
You was the point, man, several months ago with this BPL leader.
I am on the fence. I don't know where to stand. I need to know more information.
You on the fence because you had everybody backpedaling
with those cellular generators.
Something has to be
Are they
done.
working?
Absolutely. But what is it? Why the secrecy? That's the issue, right? So
Yeah, but see-
I don't know what position to hold on this yet.
Well, see, right, what has caused me, put the question mark with you, is when callers call, some of them call that you ain't got no phone or vision or nothing, and they start to tell you what they know or what could possibly
No, that's
be.
very
You
dangerous.
cut 'em off.
Yeah, because it's dangerous. It can get us in trouble, right? You can't be
Yeah,
accusing
but-
people of being a thief. You can't be saying people without, where's the evidence? Come and bring it
Yeah,
to
but
us.
right, we've been on air now 11 years now. I'm sure the Bahamian people have great command of their Queen's English.
No, they don't. What?
I love it.
What? You know how to, you've come close, but you know how to do it. But some people will come out and
But
blatantly.
you could cut me off in a minute. That's why I say it when I say it.
We have to be very careful, and right, we cannot
Okay.
allow people to just say
Right.
anything.
Mayor, yeah.
You know the answers. You know the question may not know. She
I
may
know.
listen, but
I
Dwight know. Dwight know. The people, well, the building, what was breaking down when the turn it generated, all that fixed yet? What about the 7 generators? What wasn't working for the wrong fuel? They working yet?
I have. All I can do,
You ain't got no
is
right?
groan and moan. I don't.
Because those voices said excuses, Dwight, you was on top of that, Dwight.
Mm-hmm.
It was the excuses to try to do exactly what they doing now.
Mm-hmm.
But those excuses didn't pan out.
Okay, so
It didn't work.
in your wisdom, what do you think's happening here? Do you think we
it's
need a
alleged.
PPP? What are you saying?
It is alleged that some local guru money fellas here in the Bahamas connected to allegedly now Sun Oil and Focal and them got the big anaconda wrap around BPL and
Well,
had been wrapped around them
Just
for a
last
while.
week, the NASA Guardian, Frankie Wilson, said that his companies have nothing to do with anything.
And so, well, then when you hear from him again, ask him why he got 2 generators and they're supplying power to BPL privately.
That doesn't necessarily mean that there's a connection between that and what's happening here, though. You see,
Well, what kind of connection you think he should have if he got 2 active generators supplying down there? He ain't connected to waterways.
Okay. All right. Interesting stuff. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
just note you didn't
Thank
get
you.
cut off. Just note you
It was
did
close,
not get
though.
cut
Very
off.
close. Very close. Oh boy, we'll ask when our guests get here later about some of those things there. Okay, I'm afraid to take another call.
Let's
Text
do it.
messages, calls,
Let's
everything.
do it. Let's
just,
do it.
Wow,
It's Daredevil Tuesday.
The money for the legal fees to Quesadine. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight, Professor.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
It's on. Dwight, I think the first order of business is, it's a question if privatization is a conversation that we need to have, I no doubt, because the Bahamian people at the end of the day, we just want some relief. We want efficient service, we want lower cost for energy, and that's what we want, so it's no doubt we could have that conversation and it'll be a conversation that's forthcoming for the Bahamian people, but, at the end of the day, we know BPL is a touchy topic in terms of selling any government entity or privatization, which they say they are not privatizing, but distribution or transmission, whatever they're doing. It has to be something that's not hitting. The Bahamian people cannot go through another summer with these expensive electricity bills. We can't. And I think the government is in a big predicament because this is probably one of the top 3 issues that face this country as it relates to pressing issues. It could potentially be an issue for the government going into the next general election. Dwight.
Yes, sir.
What I recognize is the name of the one or two of the individuals in that company that came up. And Mr. Wilson probably said none of his companies are involved. But the name that I recognize is actually one of the companies that's involved in the project in Saudi Dutra that's supplying generation and infrastructure work for that resort, and that's something that you guys need to look into.
Okay.
So it's it's all antics, and it needs to be addressed in all transparent way, because at the end of the day, it might be a benefit for the people of the Bahamas to get lower energy costs, but also it has to be done in a way that we know exactly what's happening, and as this plan go forward.
Okay. Thank you very much. Interesting things to think about there. All right, let's get back to the text messages. This person says here is the risk of a privatized BEC BPL. A private enterprise's sole objective is profit. A government, remember now, it's private management. And yes, there's an extent that also plays a part there too. But anyway, a government, on the other hand, cannot have profit as its sole objective, as it has a social responsibility. The risk that by itself does not mean something shouldn't be done. It just requires that you understand that risk before you move forward. Is BEC BPL currently profitable? What steps would be taken to make it so? Are you willing to have your electricity rates double under privatization? And I have no idea if price increases would happen or not. Rates could drop. I'm saying jumping up and saying privatization will be great without understanding what it will bring is unwise. I am, however, wholeheartely against giving BEC to Focal. That is a spiderweb too thick to unravel, as they also, other accusations there. Okay, interesting. Now, a lot of the draw here, again, whether it's profits that are the draw, is the fact that you're getting money to manage. Right. You're getting a lot of money. So whatever happens, you're still making your money.
Right, regardless.
So I don't know if they're all too focused about profitability. That's an added bonus. Maybe they're in contracts. I don't know. Maybe they get extra if there are profits. Right. And I'm sure a smart company
but
would
if we
work that
knew,
in.
we wouldn't be guessing at the what ifs here, right?
You don't want to know.
Right. I mean, everybody wants relief. Everybody wants an efficient running BPL. They're just doing whatever they can, and so no one would be against. I don't think people would be against anything that helps the organization to be more efficient if it was fully disclosed. Trust is a big factor here.
Yeah. This person, this is going back to that crazy texter earlier. This person says, the COO of GB Power is a Bahamian female. I believe the COO of BPL is a Bahamian woman as well. So, I mean, that is just a silly thing to have said. I don't understand people. I really don't. More stuff about Focal there. People really don't know. Bahamians can run BPL, but only if the government stays away. Will Bahamians ever become self-sufficient and independent? We may never know because the leaders pass on their inefficiencies to the organization they have chosen to lead. They're chosen to lead. Then they present you with the "you will own nothing" as the new policy statement of the present and previous governments. Come on, folks. Everyone knows PPPs. That's just another name for combining privatizing and nepotism. Alternatively, it is called kleptocracy rule. Okay. Wow. Sell them all, I say. Ain't none running profitably or properly. Sell all the government entities, you're saying. Wow. This one says, please bring back Leslie Miller and washing your clothes once a week. Y'all like jokes. That's the thing, right? This is a serious matter, right?
Oh, they're going down memory lane, Dwight.
Okay. You like to be told things like that? Yeah? But that was when he was a Water and Sewage Corporation. All right, this one says the BPL private management costs cannot result in lower prices. It is like someone saying they will manage how you spend your salary for a fee and you think your salary will increase.
Good analogy.
That is a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, okay, interesting. This person says here, well, that doesn't mean that you don't get to take home more money, right? I mean, yes, it's a still set salary thing, but if they manage it a certain way, I get your point though. But maybe you've been spending money on a lot of nonsense, and they could manage it,
streamline it, right?
So that you're spending money, but not as much.
And like you said earlier, maybe they have incentives and bonuses if the company makes X amount of profit, or that kind of stuff as well. So
right. You save more money. You get to
you get it in.
look better when you go to work, and then the boss says, "You know what? You look like you're going places." The next thing you know, you get a raise,
$50.
and this manager that you have has helped you to
Correct.
there's stranger things.
Yeah.
Wow. This texter says this BPL matter is interesting and disturbing. Now people will start to understand what BTC employees were going through and trying to stop. It's a little different. They're not trying to sell off BPL. A little bit different. Maybe a lot different. This person says here, can a private company other than BPL come and install infrastructure? Complicated. That'd be very complicated. Anything can happen, though, but that would be... Oh, boy, can you imagine? And then you'll have what you have at the phone companies, right? Someone runs up the bill and then tries to go off to the other company and runs up... PAJ is privately managed. How's that working out for the employees and the public? It's the government's way of cutting costs, i.e. employees, without being directly responsible and with... all dropping this name over and over again. This person says here, where the caller was saying that private partnerships have proven to be to have its downfalls because of poor negotiations. What the caller was trying to say, I think you're trying to say. The government gives the private companies leeway to do many things that are not in the best interest of the Bahamian people. Look at what happened at BTC. The government negotiates from a place of desperation. Private owners have proven to come in to try to get away from the unionized environment, put workers on independent contracts, and then after a few years shut down and move on. Unions, on the other hand, demand that every new term is crippling the government, always requesting more money with ludicrous terms. Something needs to change, I guess. On both sides are having challenges. Oh, boy.
On its nest.
These text messages. Remember, the first thing that Power Secure wanted to do was increase rates. Their objective is profit. That's either increasing revenue or reducing costs. Well, we heard that right from the current CEO of BPL, right? That what they've proposed as well is to increase the rate. They have not had a rate increase in many years, he said. Right? That's the current Bahamian CEO. BPL believes that is the only way they can move forward, independent of the fuel charge, whether that goes up or down. They're saying the rate, the base rate, needs to go up. So that is likely to come
anyway
in any event. Now, maybe when the government talks about lowering, maybe they're talking about less reliance on fossil fuels, and then so that it won't fluctuate as much.
Right. Lower and the fuel costs. Right. Because that's the really big.
Well, that's what made last year living hell for everybody.
I mean,
because people were noting that they weren't using as much electricity as before, yet their
the fuel,
rates were double and triple.
Insanity. It was insanity.
All right, and a couple more before we go to the break. Everyone's just naming every company in the country. They're having issues with everybody today. Let's take this final call before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight, and it's Cartwright. How y'all doing?
Duquessadine.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. Good morning, Ms. Dean.
You got only about a minute, Anton.
Yeah, okay. And good morning to the nation. Look, if Bahamians could have successfully managed BPL, we wouldn't have the issues that is going on today, right? That's not a straightforward suggestion.
You sure you want to say that, Anton? You sure you want to say that?
It's not a straightforward suggestion nor consideration because of the politics involved.
Well, that's easy then. Get the politics out of it.
I'd like to know how is that possible
what?
when the government of the Bahamas is responsible for the overall management of BPL. But in any event, moving on to my next point. Operational cost is a mere, very minute, marginal cost of the overall cost for BPL. And so talking about putting Bahamians in place to manage BPL won't do anything as it relates to the overall cost, Dwight. We need to establish relationships that will be mutually beneficial to reduce costs, to ensure better distribution, better transmission, etc. And that is not available locally. I don't care what anyone says. You know, people can come talking nonsense because they have no idea. But that is not available locally. We don't manufacture anything along the lines of electricity. We don't produce anything along the lines of electricity. Therefore, all of what we require in order to reduce cost realistically, in order to reduce our footprint realistically, in order to fall in line with climate change realistically, we have to source outside of the country. That's the bottom line. Not to mention, BPL has been operating at an extreme loss for decades in the country. And so the relationships that are going to have to be established are outside of this country, no matter how you try to discuss it, no matter who is on your show trying to discuss it. That's the bottom line, Dwight. And the government went as it relates to.
We got to go, Anton. We got to go. Thanks a lot. Your PR work today has been amazing. I think we might need to outsource government too. How about that? Because let's go to the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Oh, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
Let's get your first good traffic in for the morning. Brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean for more information. In your real-time traffic, we're seeing that heavy traffic as usual on Milo Butler Highway from well south of Fire Trail, well south of Bellet Road, actually straight up to Tawny Gooms Darling Highway. A lot of congestion there this morning. Traffic backed up along Fire Trail. And on Tawny Gooms Darling Highway, as you approach east and westbound, heading toward that roundabout there. That whole area looking busy for you. On West Bay Street near Saunders Beach and New Providence Highway, also busy for you eastbound as you approach that roundabout. Glaston Road busy as well from Fire Trail, well south of Fire Trail. Very heavy traffic on Gladstone this morning, straight up to John F. Kennedy Drive. And Eastern Road busy for you from San Souci to about Johnston Road and Robbins Road as usual. And there's Soldier and Old Trail, heavy traffic for you. Soldier's busy north of that intersection heading to Wolf Village and Bernard Road. Those are your hot spots right now. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after the news here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:21, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. We've got a surface trough across northwest Bahamas that's going to continue to support some shower activity before it lifts north of the area by this afternoon. Meanwhile, a ridge of high pressure will continue to generate moderate to fresh breezes across the country. Boaters and mariners, boaters and beachgoers should exercise caution due to swells and an elevated risk of rip currents, especially along eastern shorelines and Atlantic exposures. So your forecast for today for the northwest and central Bahamas, variably cloudy, warm, and a bit breezy with isolated showers and a few possible thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft caution in effect due to swells. For the southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, warm, and breezy with a chance of a stray shower or two, fair and mild at night. Small craft caution in effect. Temperatures today, highs getting up into the low 80s, about 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that ridge of high pressure will gradually weaken ahead of a frontal boundary, expected to drift into the northwest Bahamas by late Wednesday, and then stall across the northwestern islands through Thursday. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, partly cloudy and warm with isolated showers and a few possible thunderstorms, mainly in the northwest Bahamas. Partly sunny and warm with occasional showers in the central and southeastern islands. Thursday, variably cloudy and warm with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas. Partly sunny and warm with a stray shower elsewhere. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. Time for another check of traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean for more information. In your real-time traffic, got a number of hotspots to tell you about. We've got Milo Butler Highway still very busy for you, well south of Bellet Road, straight through the Fire Trail roundabout all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. That's northbound lanes, and traffic is backed up along Fire Trail as well. You're going to see some congestion at Milo Butler Highway in Carmichael, especially near Faith Avenue, looking busy for you there. And Gladstone Road still busy, straight up to Bahamar Boulevard this morning. Along JFK Drive, as you get to the roundabout with Prospect Ridge and Harold Road, you'll see a lot of traffic there, eastbound, northeastbound, and a bit of westbound on JFK toward that roundabout as well. West Bay Street, heavy traffic for you near Saunders Beach as you approach the roundabout with Providence Highway, and further east along West Bay as you get into downtown Nassau near Nassau Street. You're going to be seeing quite a bit of traffic for you as well. Then we've got Blue Hill Road, a bit of congestion near Carmichael, and as you get over that hill heading towards Independence Drive. But East Street is looking pretty awful for you this morning. Heavy traffic northbound from from Bamboo Boulevard straight through to the roundabout with East-West Highway and Independence Drive. And Robinson Road, as usual, between Soldier and East-West Highway. Slow-moving traffic there. Soldier Road, just a lot of congestion straight through to the intersection with Bernard Wolfe and Village Road and Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections. Eastern Road, you're not moving from Sans Souci to Johnson Road. That's what we're looking at. Good luck to you. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4. You've seen electric cars on the road, but isn't it time you drive one? Easy Car Sales invites you to experience the smooth, powerful ride and immerse yourself in the luxury and latest tech features. Find out why the Bahamas is going electric. Visit easy242.com and book your test drive now. What are you waiting for? Save money, drive smarter. There's an EV waiting for you at Easy Car Sales.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Champ, baby girl, cable guy is here.
Since the very beginning, you have been with us.
This is Paul Ray, and this is called the internet.
Okay.
All right, so
For over 2 decades, we've been with you every step of the way.
Weibo is total class. Look at her go. She's in front.
Hi, fellow and residents.
So yeah, times may have changed, and so have your needs as our valued customers. But some connections stand the test of time. Rev, we're with you.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Here's a sure-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. We also have airbrush paint. I forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil, shrimp, stew, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store, find colour in every day.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Oh, yeah. All right. My beautiful islands. I tell you, if the good Lord never goes on holiday, tell me why he made the Bahamas. If the good Lord.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean. And we're changing gears now. We'll pick up the BPL discussion in our business hour when we have Kyle Wilson, the Electrical Workers Union president, on with us. So stay tuned for that. But now we want to talk about your health, and specifically men's health, prostate cancer, a lot of high-profile cases internationally and even locally as of late. And we're very pleased to have back with us urologist Dr. Gregory Pinto. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dwight.
All right, so a lot to talk about this morning because it seems like every time we talk about it, it's like for the first time. So many people just don't pay attention or aren't aware or ignore. But you've been out there pushing and getting that message out. Are you seeing any attitudes change? What's it look like from your perspective?
Slowly but surely, I see men who would never have come for prostate cancer screening. I think there was a lot of, we'll talk about the elephant in the room, a lot of avoiding any screening because of the dreaded finger. And I think that I've been able to make it clear that looking at the American Urology Association, that there is no proven benefit just for routine screening for the dreaded finger. The dreaded finger is very subjective. But the message that even I like to relate to even physicians is that when you're feeling for something, it has to have a proven benefit. There's risk versus benefit. And what we're feeling for is when we want to pick up prostate cancer, we want to pick up prostate cancer when the prostate actually feels completely normal. So telling a patient that the prostate feels completely normal, you have nothing to worry about, is actually giving somebody a false sense of security. So in most of the patients that I pick up, the prostate will feel completely normal. But we're using blood tests. We have more specific blood tests that can pick it up. We have very specific imaging that can pick up prostate cancer 5, 8, 10 years before it becomes of any clinical significance. In many cases, we can actively surveil someone because we pick up the prostate cancer where it's so low volume, so clinically insignificant that you don't have to do anything about it. We can just watch you carefully until the disease progresses to a higher stage or to a larger volume where we will advocate you getting treatment, which will be curative at that stage. But 4 months ago, we rolled out through Urology Care Bahamas at Oak Tree Medical Center the BioSpy, which is a a PCR, polymerase chain reaction test that is doing wonders. The wonderful thing about it is that there's no needle, so there's no excuse. Men are definitely afraid of the dreaded finger, but even more so, they're afraid of needles.
Right.
This is a FDA-approved device where even a patient can put it on themselves on their forearm. It's a suction device that withdraws a little bit of blood that can be stored at room temperature. There's no refrigeration necessary. And the amount of blood that it is required for this BioSpy prostate IQ test is very minute. For example, for the routine PSA blood test that we use every year, you need 75 microliters for testing. For this PCR BioSpy Smart prostate IQ test, you only need 5. So that's 5 microliters versus 75. No needle. The suction device is FDA approved.
You brought one here. This little thing here.
Yeah.
And you don't feel anything.
You don't feel anything. So it's so superficial in terms of it just sucking out a small amount of blood. It doesn't even reach the nerve ending. So you feel, so basically, take-home message today is prostate cancer screening will lead to inevitable cure, because if you can pick up prostate cancer early, when it's organ confined, the 5-year survival is 100%. 10-year survival is 98, 99%. There are very few cancers that you can say that. You don't even necessarily need surgery to cure prostate cancer. There are many different management modalities that can be employed that are minimally invasive. Some of them are even outpatient. And even if you want surgery, we can do it minimally invasively, sparing the nerves, where you can maintain your erections and quality of life at a very high level. So that's the big misconception, is that prostate cancer is a death sentence, that if you do get treatment, you're going to lose your erections. It's actually the opposite. If we pick up prostate cancer late, which unfortunately we're doing far too often in this country, the first thing we're going to do is what we call androgen deprivation therapy. We're going to try to lower your testosterone to as low as possible to starve the advanced prostate cancer from proliferating, from progressing. And the first thing that's going to do is, if you have very low testosterone, even men on the street will realize that means you're going to have no sex drive, you're going to be in the male version of menopause, you're going to have very poor or no erections at all. But obviously, we're in a life over leisure. Last thing we're going to worry about is your erection. We're going to try to keep you alive for as long as possible. But if we look at the other end of the spectrum, if we can pick up prostate cancer early, we can pick it up so early, in many cases, we can just surveil you. And if we do need to treat you, we can do it minimally invasively, maintaining your erections at a very high rate. No issue where men have this whole misconception that you're going to have to wear a bag your whole life, you have to put a catheter. Absolutely incorrect. That is for the other end of the spectrum, where it's advanced disease, where the prostate cancer has gone beyond the confines of the prostate, spread locally throughout the pelvis, gone to the bones, etc., cause obstruction of your kidneys. You many times present with kidney failure. That's the late stage. But if we can pick up prostate cancer by surveilling you from the age of 40 and every year after that, every single year, all the way up to age 75, and even men who have a family history of longevity will even go beyond 75, because there's some 78-year-olds who have a life expectancy that's greater than some 55-year-olds. So you have to look at every individual in terms of what is their performance status, what is their likely longevity, and then look at that patient that way.
All right, so you said it. 40 is when you should start the screening.
Well, if someone has a very strong family history, particularly if first-degree relatives who are being diagnosed with prostate cancer earlier than 50, will start at the age of 35.
35. And we know we have a lot of people with women in their family with cancer, and so the same thing for them. If you've got, should you start early?
Very much so. Yeah. So we have in terms of breast cancer, we have a very high rate of women, unfortunately, who are getting diagnosed even before the age of 40, definitely before the age of 50. In fact, more females are being diagnosed before the age of 50 than even after the age of 50, which is terrible. But in terms of prostate cancer, is not getting the media that it should. Breast cancer needs even more marketing and media and spread of information out there and education. But prostate cancer is laid at the wayside. What's happening with the men? They're just dying silently.
As you said, this is
this is the number one cancer in this country.
Number one cancer.
An estimated 1 in 6 men in this country are going to get prostate cancer in their lifetime.
1 in 6.
Prostate cancer is a very prejudiced disease. It has almost a different entity for a black man than our Caucasian or Asian or Hispanic counterparts. In fact, for even within men of African ancestry, the Caribbean men have a worse prognosis than even African American men or men in the continent of Africa.
Right.
So in terms of incidence per capita, Bahamas is 7th in the world. 7th, that's alarming.
We keep making the top 10 in the bad list.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And then when we look at what are the top 10 countries in the world with the highest incidence of prostate cancer, 7 of those countries are within the Caribbean, and 3 of those are in Africa. So there have been studies even in.
Do we know why? What is
a
causing
lot of it is genetics. A lot of it, and even in our country, we look at BRCA gene. We're looking at the BRCA gene mutation, breast cancer gene mutation. So, for example, and men don't realize they can get the gene mutation, BRCA gene mutation themselves. If they have the BRCA gene mutation type 2, their chance of getting prostate cancer before the age of 70 is 8 times greater than if they don't. They're almost inevitably going to get prostate cancer. And in those particular patients, we're going to be very proactive in surveilling them so we can pick up prostate cancer early and offer them almost 100% cure. If you have the BRCA gene type 1 mutation, your chance of getting prostate cancer in your lifetime is 3 times greater than if you don't.
Yeah. So in advocating for men to be screened for prostate cancer, are we also advocating for them to get the BRCA testing as well? And if so, when should they do that, or where can they do that?
So we have to look at the cost versus the benefit. We only have, particularly nationally in the government level, we only have a certain budget for screening. So we have to look at the benefit versus the cost. So if there are individuals in a family where there are a larger number of women in the family have breast cancer, men who have had prostate cancer, yes. In those men, in that family, we're going to advocate for BRCA gene mutation for the men and for the women.
Right.
But to go across the board
Right.
and for the entire population, that's going to cost millions of dollars that we don't have.
Right.
And there are other ways of picking up prostate cancer very early and with very little expense. For example, the BioSpy prostate IQ test is the same
Right.
cost as the PSA blood test. You can get the blood sample painlessly. That's what men want to hear. Without any needle.
No needles.
Not trying to find any vein.
Right.
There's no stick. You can
Right.
put the device on your forearm yourself. You're not going to feel a thing. It's advocated even in the U.S. and throughout the world for children who are afraid of needle and who are trying to withdraw blood because it's painless.
And it almost looks like a toy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does look like a toy.
It's almost,
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So no finger, no needle.
needle.
We can pick up prostate cancer with this BioSpy prostate IQ test with greater sensitivity, greater accuracy. At the same time, we're looking at other parameters within PSA in terms of free PSA, total PSA, PSA velocity. It's also basically looking at our subset of men, and that's men primarily of African ancestry. So many studies have been throughout the world in terms of how do we advocate for prostate cancer screening in Europe and in North America. These studies are based on Caucasian men, and we've already, as he said earlier, it's widely known and widely accepted that the disease is almost a different entity. It's a more aggressive disease for men of African ancestry. So we cannot use the same screening protocol that are advocated in Caucasian countries because we have a different disease, a more aggressive disease, a higher rate of disease. Our chance of dying of the disease is 5 times greater than Caucasian counterparts.
And what is that rate here? Is this one of the top killers here as well? Or?
It is. It is, unfortunately. And then we don't need to have men dying needlessly of the disease because if we can pick it up early, the chance of survival is almost 100%.
So I think one of the other things people fear is chemotherapy as a part of treatment. So can you speak to what part that plays, if any, in the treatment of prostate cancer? Because that could be something that could take away your fear as well and have someone get screened.
So for curative treatment for prostate cancer, chemotherapy has absolutely no role. We can treat prostate cancer even as an outpatient, minimally invasive. So all of urology and modern urology is minimally invasive, trying to have everything done painlessly, allow you to maintain your quality of life. We can cure your prostate cancer on a weekend and you could be back to work that week. Even if you want surgery, which is not a necessity to cure prostate cancer. We can do it minimally invasively, nerve sparing, allow you to maintain your erections at a very high rate, maintain your urinary continence. So we want the trifecta when we're talking about prostate cancer. We want to make sure that we have survival, where the prostate cancer is a thing of the past. You're in remission for life. There's not going to be any chance of recurrence. We want to make sure that you maintain a quality of life through maintaining your erections, the same erections before and after treatment. And we also want to make sure there are no urinary issues after the treatment as a result of the treatment. So we don't want any leakage. We don't want any frequency. We want to make sure that you have the same quality of life. And we can do that when the prostate cancer is organ confined.
Okay.
So no,
So
there's no role for
detected very
chemotherapy.
early,
Chemotherapy is for palliative treatment for prostate cancer. Androgen deprivation will reload your testosterone is for palliative care when the disease is not for cure. We try to maintain your quality of life and try to give you as many years on this earth as possible. But you're not, unfortunately, for cure, which is a tragedy because if we pick it up early, you can be cured. And there's no excuse for men. If I'm telling you, you don't need the finger, you don't need the needle.
Right.
So where is the fear?
Right.
Yeah.
What about
how often should you be getting the test? You should,
once a year,
once
from the
a year.
age of 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
And every year after that, I've seen too many men who become complacent and they'll go 3 or 4 years, and then that's the time.
Don't do that. Not even every other year. Don't do that.
Every year.
Every
Okay.
single year.
Is there anything at all, Dr. Pinto, that you do for prevention?
There's a lot that can be done, actually. In
Okay.
terms of just in general for cancer prevention, you want to maintain a healthy lifestyle in terms of diet. You want to make sure that you don't smoke. You want to make sure that you maintain a normal body mass index. You don't want to be obese. Because even if you're diagnosed with prostate cancer, breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, you're going to do better if you're healthier. If you have normal obese patients who are diagnosed with cancer are not going to do as well if you're not obese. You also want to make sure that you can eat right. So looking at what are the lowest rates of prostate cancer in the world, we look at those who are in Asia, and we look at diet. So red meat has a role, and they've looked at studies where generations have gone, for example, persons from Japan have moved to California. And within one generation where their diet has changed, their risk of prostate cancer has gone up exponentially just from the fact that their diet has changed. There are also environmental factors as well. But the things that we can do in terms of, obviously, surveillance is important. In terms of black men in particular, we want to make sure that we limit the amount of dairy milk intake. So obviously we hear these commercials going back that milk does the body good.
Right.
Yes, you need calcium. Calcium is imperative for every function of the body, for body homeostasis, for functioning of all the blood vessels, everything. But you need to limit your dairy milk intake because prostate cancer is very hormonal sensitive. And 75% of the milk that is produced by cows, those are cows that are pregnant. And there's a high level of estrogen. So that can cause there to be a proliferation of prostate cancer. So they've even looked at, you're not supposed to have more than 1 3/4 cups of milk a day. So I would say if you have a strong family history of prostate cancer, don't even have dairy milk. Have almond milk or an alternative. Obviously, you want to have calcium intake from milk, but there are other forms of milk that you can take in that are not going to increase your risk of prostate
Should you
cancer.
limit cheese and yogurt as well?
Any products
Any
related to dairy.
Okay.
Yeah, but you still want to maintain
The
by other
calcium,
forms as
right.
well.
Okay.
Wow. All right. So let's make it clear. This is just an extraction device, right?
It's basically a needle-free, painless, almost a vacuum suctioning device where it doesn't go to the level of the nerve, so you feel no pain whatsoever.
It still needs to go to the lab.
It goes to the lab.
Yes, it is.
And it's a more sensitive test, so there are less false negatives. It's a more accurate test. You can get all the parameters that you want related to PSA, free PSA, total PSA, PSA velocity, and it's geared more towards men of African ancestry instead of Caucasian men.
Wow.
So it's more age specific in terms of it's age related, and it's also race related.
Yes, right. Because someone's asking if they can buy it, but you still need to send it to
the lab.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Well,
You can draw it yourself, so we can send it to persons in the family island.
And they
can
send
draw
it back.
and they can send it back, and we can get a
that's
prompt
very
result. Yes.
interesting. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
I forget.
Okay. Now, you're in today's NASA Guardian. You have an article. You have a column in the NASA Guardian, which is always wonderful.
Every week.
Every week. Today, you're talking about milk, but also cannabis.
Yes, there are some studies that have shown great promise that I'm not advocating cannabis use at all, but it's shown that the intake of cannabis can reduce your risk of prostate cancer. There's even, we talk about chemo prevention. I'm writing an article for Guardian next week in regards to that. There's certain things that you can avoid and certain medications that you can take that you can reduce your incidence or risk of getting prostate cancer, including a wonderful drug out there that can reduce your chance of not only getting low-risk prostate cancer by 25%, which is significant, but reduce your risk of getting male pattern baldness. So you can keep your hair.
Cannabis?
No.
Okay.
We're not talking about cannabis.
You went back to, right.
Yeah.
No, that would be
medicine.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So the medication can allow you to maintain, you're not going to get the recession of your hairline, you're going to keep your hair. Plus, you can reduce your risk of getting low-risk prostate cancer by 25%. That is considerable. And that also can help you with emptying your bladder, which is a problem as men get older. You can have an inevitable age-related increase in the size of the prostate. Look at it by decades. 50%, 50-year-olds, 60% of 60-year-olds are going to have some what we call lower urinary tract obstructive or irritated symptoms, where they're going to have a weak flow, inability to empty their bladder. They're waking up 5 times in the night to urinate. They need to live their life based on where's the next bathroom. They got to pull over the side of the road to find a tree to urinate. They got to drive with a cup because they can't even pull over to the side of the road. They avoid drinking anything when they're out, particularly if they're going to be stuck in traffic, because they cannot hold their urine, basically. They're going to have incontinence, they have frequency, they have urgency. That's an inevitable part of getting older. And a lot of men have a lot of fear, and they just basically try to live their life based on, you know what, I got to stop drinking at 6 o'clock, which is going to cause issues in itself. It can lead to kidney stone formation. They go to bed miserable because they're so thirsty, but they know if they have anything to drink, they're going to be waking up 5-6 times in the night. That's not the way to... We can give you medication that can allow you to, as a 58-year-old, to be emptying their bladder like an 18-year-old and having a good night's sleep, where maybe they might wake up once to urinate or no time at all. It's not just a nuisance.
So don't self-manage and
Not at all. If you're not emptying your bladder, you can get back pressure on your bladder, which can cause irreversible damage to your bladder itself. It could lose its ability in terms of contractility to empty. You have back pressure on your kidneys. It lead to acute kidney failure. And if you allow it to progress, it can lead to chronic renal failure. So there are dozens and dozens of men in this country who were never emptying their bladder, ignored the symptoms, and are on dialysis. They didn't want to see a doctor, but now 3 times a week, they got to wake up 4 in the morning and go get dialysis.
Well, all right. We've got a number of callers calling in and a lot of text messages as well. And let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning to you, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to Dr. Pinto and fine lady, Miss Dane.
Yes, good morning.
Observation, I want to say, we want to salute Dr. Pinto on educating our men in terms of their health. I really do appreciate him, and I want to let him know that. On behalf of all of the men who was afraid to call, I want to say, sir, continue along with yourself, Dr. Robin Roberts. I am quite aware because I like to be educated on this as I grow older. Now, scientists, there's this research. Is it true that scientists reveal that a healthy ejaculation that when man gets, that helps to maintain the prostate? Is there any truth to that?
100%. I've been on this radio station for years. I've been writing in the papers about this. Yes, so studies have conclusively found, long-term studies even going on 20 years. There's one study that involved 28,000 men over a period, I think, of 22 years. There was a Harvard study. There was a study in Australia that have found that 21 ejaculations, no matter what way you do it, I won't get into that, but 21 ejaculations a month can reduce your risk of prostate cancer by anywhere from 20 to 28%.
What was that the question? What was that? What was it?
That's plenty sex.
So I have men who come and they've read the research, they've heard me advocate that, and they've asked me to write a prescription to give to their wife.
Oh, my. Okay. 21. Every time you say it, it's still shocking to a lot of people.
Yeah,
But 21 times.
before.
Okay. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and you here.
Hi.
I have a question. What about men who have a problem with taking medication? For the most part, men don't like to take medication. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes, it's a profound problem in this country. Men will say, "I just don't own it." You diagnosed with high blood pressure? Nope.
I ain't claiming it.
I ain't claiming it.
Yeah.
I had some salt with my eggs this morning. Oh, I was in a rush this morning, so that'll explain why my blood pressure is 240 over 150. You have to realize if you don't like to see a doctor, if you don't like to be in the hospital, if you want to maintain your erections, which is the number one thing that men in this country want, if you're diagnosed with something, you got to take your medication. It's a small price to pay. If it allows you to not have to wake up 5 times in the night to urinate, it doesn't put you at risk of kidney failure. It allows you to maintain a good quality of life. It allows you to maintain an erection. So there's this misconception that blood pressure medication is going to kill my erection. Yes, in some select individuals, certain classes of blood pressure medications, and there are multiple forms of blood pressure medications, from ACE inhibitors to beta blockers to calcium channel inhibitors to diuretics, or a mix of many of those. In certain individuals, it can, in fact, affect your erections. But the answer is to not stop the medication and let blood pressure, first thing, kill your erections, because it's going to have a sustained high blood pressure, going to kill the blood supply and nerve supply to your male member. It's to seek consult from your physician, let them change that medication and allow you to maintain your normal blood pressure and maintain your erections.
Which ones won't affect your erection?
Everybody's different.
Oh, okay.
So everybody's different.
So Dr. Pinto, men generally don't like being told what to do, right? So to the women who support men, whether it's mothers or wives or girlfriends or such, how can they tailor a message, or what are some of the things they can do backdoor way to help their men see a physician?
Well, if you as a wife or as a partner see that your husband is even annoying you because he's waking up 5 times in the night to urinate and waking you up as well, you're going to work like a zombie. He's feeling fatigued all the time. You can see him irritable all the time. You can go and speak to him from that point of view. As a family, you're stressing me out. Your health is deteriorating. Let's go and seek a consult in a confidential environment. So I've heard it all. It's not going to change the expression on my face. Everything I'm a vault. If I see you in the food store, I'm not even going to hail you. If you want to hail me, I'll nod and say good morning, good afternoon. But whatever's said to me stays with me. That's the cornerstone of any physician's practice. So there's no fear. And the issue that many men don't realize is that what you're going through and what you're silently suffering from, I'm sure your cousin's also silently suffering from, your church member, your colleague. So why is everyone living in silence with things that are going to afflict every man at some point? Every man is going to be afflicted with erectile dysfunction. We have a very high incidence of communicable diseases in this country, one of the highest in the rate, not only in the Caribbean, but throughout the world, in terms of diabetes, in terms of hypertension. So if you need to take medication, you need to take the medication. So for men, what is their motivation as a Bahamian man? If you take the medication, if you get your annual surveillance, we can pick up the disease early, we can maintain your erections until your golden years. And that's all they want. That's all they want.
All right. Wow. This texter says, for someone who's discovered early prostate cancer but is financially challenged, are there any free treatments available?
That's why we have a government system. That's why we have NHI. That's why annual surveillance is free. That's why we have the Princess Margaret Hospital. So there's no cost for treatment. So if you have financial constraints, that's no excuse for not getting prostate cancer screening. There's no excuse for getting treatment.
Wow. Okay. As we said, we've heard a lot of high prominent cases, especially in the U.S. The Secretary of Defense, he had to have his prostate removed. Let's talk about when it gets to that point. You definitely don't want to get there. But let's talk about that. What happens there? What do you think happened in his case?
So if you have organ-confined disease, you don't necessarily need removal of your prostate. Obviously, you have to look at it at any individual differently. You have to look at the disease factors. You have to look at the pathology of the disease itself. You'll have to look at the individual as well, looking at their comorbidities. So there are many ways to treat and cure prostate cancer. You can get brachytherapy, which is putting low-dose radioactive seeds strategically into the prostate gland itself without a single cut, stitch, or anything else. It could be done on a Saturday. You'll be back to work on a Monday with a very high rate of you being able to maintain your erections with little to no effect on your urinary continence at all.
Wow.
And we can advocate for external beam radiation. You can have image-guided external beam radiation. It could be done on your lunch hour, 20 minutes, painless radiation that's going to kill the prostate cancer. You can maintain your prostate can. You can have focal therapy where we can either freeze it through cryotherapy. We can heat it through HIFU, high-intensity focused ultrasound. There are many other combinations of that. You can have brachytherapy with a boost of external beam radiation. And as I mentioned, if you advocate for surgery, we can do it minimally invasively and nerve sparing, either laparoscopic or even using Da Vinci robotic prostatectomy. So the fact that you're going to have all of this pain through the treatment, you're going to have a long recovery, you're going to be wearing a catheter, absolutely not.
Okay.
So that's an extreme case.
That's when
the prostate.
That's when it's gone to beyond the confines of
Right.
it's spread to the bones where the prostate is so enlarged and obstructed that you can't even empty your bladder. Where we're gonna lower your testosterone to as low as possible, and your quality of life has gone down out the drain.
And even after it's removed, what is your quality of life like?
So if you have cancer that's gone beyond the confines of the prostate, there is no cancer-specific benefit to removing the prostate. All we're trying to do is give you palliative care where you might need chemotherapy, you might need androgen deprivation, lowering your testosterone. And then even when we lower your testosterone, the disease itself is going to find a way to bypass our blockade of lowering your testosterone. Then we develop what we call castrate-resistant prostate cancer, where we need to give you drugs that are extremely expensive. Even in the U.S., these drugs, such as Zytiga, might be $9,000 a month.
Oh my God.
So when you talk about cost, if we pick it up early, there's going to be very little cost compared to the cost, not only emotionally, socially, psychologically, the cost on your loved ones of the stress of watching you struggle in and out of hospital with the pain, and one day you're the breadwinner of the family, the next you're a burden to your family, emotionally and financially. So stop being selfish. Look at your wife, look at your grandchildren, look at your kids. Don't become a burden to them. Don't have that fear that prostate cancer is going to may cause you to lose your erection. It's the opposite. If we can pick it up early, we can maintain your erections. You can have those golden years. You can have, instead of dying at 56, you can go on and live to 90.
No. All right, let's see if we can squeeze these final calls in really quickly. I'm running out of time. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Hey, but, over here in the States, you got a lot of these black men, they scared to go to the doctor. They talking about, I had a Jamaican friend of mine who be served together in the military. He thought, but I don't want no man to violate my butt and all this stuff. And I saw his daughter about 2 months ago, and I asked him, how your father doing? She said, my father possibly prostate cancer. I said, oh, my God. They scared, to get checked. When you reach 40 years old as a man, you see a woman got to get her mammogram and all that stuff. They have the fear. That's what killing a lot of black men, man. They scared of the doctor. Man, I get my I go every quarter to get checkup, okay? I'm in the military. I get military insurance. I get stuff. I'm at the dentist right now. Waiting on the dentist right now. But these young men, these black young men, they scared of the doctor. Man, you better you know, they walk around. The last time I saw him, he had a belly look like he was 6 months pregnant. I said, man, you need to go check yourself. You know, that's the last time I talked to him. And his daughter told me, he positive with prostate cancer. Wow. And I said, Lord, thank God. You know what I'm saying? But black
how old was he? How old was he?
He was 57 years old. Wow. I'm 60. He's, you know what I'm saying? I was young, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This man got to get checked, because if they catch it early, they could treat it. You know what I'm saying? You wait too late. You know, like I say, it don't make sense removing the prostate and then far gone. You know what I'm saying? But man, public service announcement, black man, go get checked, man. Especially you over 40 years old. You know?
Thank
you. 242 for life.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah.
So something, he said about him saying to his friend, hey, go get yourself checked. Dr. Pinto, what do you think we can do that would make it safe for men to share more? Maybe if people knew, like you're saying, 1 in 6 men will get it, and it's the number one killer now. Like, what would make it safe for men to share more? Because maybe if men hear men talk about this, other than just you, Dr. Pinto, right? It could make a difference. Like, how can we encourage them to share more about their successes being treated?
I all the time I go and I'll speak to groups of men, whether it's church groups, whether it's within Rotary or other groups throughout the community, and we have a safe environment where men will open up and speak about their follies, their mistakes in terms of, you know what, I should have gone for a prostate cancer screening. I should have gone for annual surveillance. I probably had diabetes for 15 years and it's caused untold harm to me. That's why I speak to my nephews. That's why I speak to my son. That's why I speak to men at work. If we can realize that, and I get it all the time. I'm very blessed to have a very busy private practice, and a lot of men, it's just through word of mouth. Okay, my cousin said that you got him back on track. My colleague says that he was able to pick up the prostate cancer so early without the dreaded finger. I should have gotten prostate cancer 15 years ago. I'm 55. I've never gone for anything. I'm scared of getting stuck by a needle. That's why the BioSpy Smart IQ test can cause these men to come in and realize that, you know what, you don't even have a need to get a needle sick. You don't need the dreaded finger. If we can pick it up early, your chance of survival is nearly 100%. With maintaining your quality of life. And for men, that meant quality of life, I'll specifically maintain your erections.
I'm disturbed, Dr. Pinto. The text messages, they're very strange. People, this person says, I'm 46, I'm scared of the doctor. I try to drink bush medicine. Ask the doctor if there are any bush medicines that you recommend. Oh my gosh. I'd rather drink bush medicine than go to the doctor.
Well, you need your annual surveillance no matter what. I mean, you yourself cannot self-diagnose. You cannot pick up something early where you do not have any symptoms. So you need to get your annual surveillance no matter what. There are natural medicines. For example, for men who have an enlarged prostate, particularly in Europe, and I advocate it myself, you can use saw palmetto. It doesn't even require a prescription, and that will allow you to stop urinating frequently, urgently, to have you waking up all the night to urinate. So yeah, there is a role
for an enlarged prostate, not
yeah.
prostate cancer.
Not prostate cancer,
right.
yes.
Right.
And there's a lot of misconception in regard to that. A lot of men will stay home, as I said, with urinary symptoms because they're afraid they have prostate cancer. Statistically speaking, it's almost certainly going to be related to an enlarged normal prostate. So take that fear out the window. And even if it is related to prostate cancer, let's pick it up early and give you an excellent cure.
Yeah.
Is that the only symptom?
In fact, early prostate cancer has little to no symptoms. So if a man is waiting for symptoms, they're waiting until it's too late. That's why surveillance is so important. And that's the key to survival, is that you don't wait for symptoms, because you're going to wait for symptoms, bony pain, and then it's terrible. Men will wake up one day, they can't even walk because the prostate cancer has spread through their spine. And they'll stay home another 7 days before they come to the hospital.
My goodness.
That's how great their fear is of the hospital, the medical fraternity, etc. But what I'm saying is, if you pick up prostate cancer, if you have your annual surveillance, if you're healthier, if you have whatever communicable disease, whether it's hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, etc., if you can pick it up early, you'll rarely see a doctor. It'll be the opposite. You don't have to be in hospital.
All right, so we're getting this is I don't understand it. So you need to say this again. We have a minute left. Everybody's saying finger, scared of the finger, scared. You don't even need to be afraid of needles now.
Correct.
One more time, Dr. Pinto, tell people these are silly fears that you don't need to have because we've moved beyond this.
We're trying to pick up prostate cancer where the prostate feels clinically normal. So the dreaded finger, including looking at the European Association of Urology guidelines for just normal prostate cancer screening, looking at American Urology Association, AUA, in terms of advocating for protocol for just routine screening. And I'll quote it. It'll say that there is no benefit for using digital rectal exam for routine screening. Is digital rectal exam obsolete in medicine? No. Is it obsolete even in terms of follow-up for prostate cancer? No. But just for routine screening, we start with blood tests, and then with the rolling out of the BioSpy prostate smart IQ test, you don't even need the dreaded needle. You don't have so it's a painless withdrawal of blood through a vacuum suction device, where even the patient can apply it to themselves to the forearm. They don't feel a thing. It doesn't go to the level of the nerve ending, so you don't feel anything. And this test is more sensitive, more specific. It's basically geared towards men of African ancestry. It does the PSA total PSA, free PSA, and PSA velocity with a very small amount of blood withdrawn painlessly.
Right. And NHI covers prostate exams.
It does, very much so.
And your annual, of course.
Of course.
So you have no
There's
excuse.
So how do you get this? How can you get this? Because, I mean, you could, while they're sleeping,
Correct.
you could get the blood, but how does one get this?
So we're working with the government to roll it out even on the national level, and that hopefully will be within the next few months. But you can get it through Oak Tree Medical Center even now.
Okay.
At Urology Care, Bahamas.
While you sleeping tonight.
Again, it won't hurt, so it's not a big deal. But how long can you? Because you don't want to be walking around with your blood for too long, I'm sure. How long will it be viable if you?
2 days.
2 days.
All right.
Okay. All right. So, or you could just go to Dr.
Right,
Pinto or
and get it
anybody
done.
and get your
Yeah.
blood.
Correct.
But that's fine. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
To
Whatever
get
it takes to save lives.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Prostate cancer is a national crisis.
Dr. Gregory Pinto, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Again, your column it's every Tuesday.
Correct.
In the National Guardian.
Correct.
Great to have you.
Thank you very much.
We'll talk again soon. And we're going to be back after the news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care. For every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean. And this morning we are talking about BPL. We continue our discussion about BPL, which we started with earlier in the show. And joining us now, we're very pleased to have with us the president of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union, Kyle Wilson. Good morning, sir. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Always a pleasure to be here. Good morning, Ms. Dean. Good morning, Mr. Strachan. Good morning, Bahamas, and the wonderful people of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union.
All right, so these are tough times, challenging times for you, your union, and everybody at BPL, the uncertainty. Let's talk about this. Let's go back to as close to the beginning as possible. We know that there was a request for proposals. What do you know about that? And is that separate from what you have been informed about with the meetings you've been having with the government?
But before I start, let me just put a scripture out there that I always live by, which is Jeremiah 1:19, which says, "They shall fight against thee, but they will not prevail against thee, for I am with thee, says the Lord, to deliver thee." And I truly believe in that scripture, that God will deliver his people. And it's evident throughout the Bible that he stands up for his people. Dwight, we are at a point where we don't have to be if we would just simply do one thing: table the documents.
Mm-hmm.
Put the evidence before the Bahamian people to dispel any hysteria, any rumors, any issues concerning this deal. We already have issues with it because we signed an MOU, and the current administration, back in 1977, signed an MOU with the trade unions, which was reconsummated in 2021, and saying that we will put you at the table with anything that would affect the working people and the unions in this country. I was told by the chairman recently that upcoming is something that could possibly be damaging to the union. And so to hear say back and forth between him, the minister, and the prime minister, with no one putting the union to the table as promised, no one putting a document to the Bahamian people. I'm hearing nothing from the Utilities and Regulations Commission. I've seen no true public procurement process to deal with this specific deal. See, there's a lot of information, misinformation, but I am talking about the strategic partnership and the transferring or the custodianship of the Bahamian assets, whether it's land, because they have to put their machines on land, which could be possibly the Bahamian land. How long will they be occupying our land? They are yet to tell us when we pay for the generation, because it's a private company that's going to funnel the generation price through BPL. So obviously we're buying it, and we may have to possibly put a markup on it to then consummate the deal with the transmission and distribution through a third party. So when you tell me generation is going to cost X, Y, and Z cents, okay, you may purchase it for that amount, but now when you have to add markup on paying for staff, and you may have to add markup on for putting monies aside for a rainy day or disaster, and who's going to pay for transmission and distribution contracts, because transmission lines and transformers do not generate money.
Mm-hmm.
These are sort of liabilities of the process. Okay? So BPL only does two things. It generates power, it transmits and distributes it to the customers. Now, where I feel is legacy-wise, administration after administration, they claim that there's millions and millions of dollars in unpaid debt to BPL. Well, why don't we get a partner to find a way to go and collect those debt? There's plenty collection agencies who's willing to partner with the company to get those funds in. Mm-hmm. Why are we not focusing on that aspect of it? Because if people are not paying their bills, and do you know are not paying the bills? The affluent who can afford to pay their bills. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so ask BPL to table who owes them on top of this. But we're not going to be distracted by smoke and mirrors. You know the magician, he waves the wand and the magic, and you see the flash bang over here while he takes his hand and grabs something from over there and throw the bird in the air. We ain't playing that one.
Yeah.
So what information has been shared with you?
None. all I was seeing is a PowerPoint presentation. And you know what? As the president, I feel slapped in the face because the minister just simply turned her personal PC and just showed me the slide thing. And I got the greatest eyesight. So, I'm there trying to listen to her and see what on the paper, right? They even set up something fancy and put some water and some cookie, to get you relaxed. And, they got it set up for a presentation. I was just given a shabby. You might sort of show it to me on your or send me something on your WhatsApp.
But okay, so from your recollection, what did you hear or see? What?
Well, the only thing, being a union leader, my thing is always listening for the details as far as workers are concerned.
Okay. And
I heard nothing in there that would advance the cause of the Bahamian worker. I only hear seconding to these entities or this entity. And so that word is stuck in my mind. What is the legal definition as far as this agreement? Because words have meanings. And I can put in my agreement what seconding would mean outside of a regular definition. In this, it means X, Y, and Z. I didn't hear directly that we will respect your industrial agreements. All I'm hearing is we're seconding you and we're getting and possible training, but you're not training me to keep control of my assets. You're training me to fall in line with the processes of this new company. Is there processes? And I've not been able to talk to the third party to verify, because by the amount of many witnesses is something be established. Mm-hmm. Why can't I talk to them to find out and say, Mr. X, Y, and Z, or whoever partner you are, here's the deal. Here's my industrial agreement. Are you going to fall in line with this? You do live line work, we don't. How are we going to work around it? You do this, you do that, we don't. Your hours of operation are different from what we have agreed to and registered agreement. And so with the Bahamian government, so in your partnership, are you going to even recognize my agreement?
Are so you going based to on what you saw, it seemed that the company has already been chosen to do this, or is this a plan for?
Well, they called the name, and if I get to my recollection, the name was a company called Pike, right? And so they called the name. So obviously they would have spoken with this company, they would have moved forward, and you don't come to me after it's done to tell me what you're doing or what you did. You come to the Bahamian people through the right processes in accordance with the laws and Electricity Act, and you put out the proper RFPs and proposals, and you let the Bahamian people know, well, this is what we have narrowed down to. You know what? We have many stakeholders who have a direct hand in the industry, so we'll have the unions understand, well, these are the various companies we've narrowed to. These are what they intend to do. Please give us your feedback on how it can affect you that could help us to make the right decision. Don't tell me I didn't make my decision and I say you covered.
And that's what someone said to you?
Yeah, well, if you look at the statement that the Honorable Prime Minister put out, it tells us that they're saying that you're covered. We don't have to give it to you in black and white. We don't have to show you nothing. Just take our word for it. Well, we took your word for it with BTC. Look at what a disaster that is.
So what else do they say about Pike? I'm reading about Pike now.
So I've been told that Pike has all the fancy equipment in the industry, and Pike is the best thing since sliced bread, and this is why we chose, right? But what I'm saying is, let the Bahamian people choose what direction you are going to send us in. Your job is to go there as the executive of the country and put out the proper processes according to the law, right? That would allow even you, Dwight, Sean, you may have an idea, right? You may have an epiphany. Let me tell you something. Nikola Tesla, he's the father of modern electronics and electricity, and you could search him up. He had a vision. He saw the Niagara Falls, and he saw a wheel turning from the fall, rotating a magnetic field, generating electricity. He had a vision, and he put his vision to plan. God could give you a vision for the future. He could say, you know, we have a land where we have the waves, we have sunshine, and we have the breeze in Long Island. We have so many natural resources because Niagara Falls was a natural resource. And so he can give you. But how can you put forth your ideas if you're not given the opportunity to do so? And these are not experts. These are politicians. These are lawyers. Some are doctors. Some are businessmen. But they are not engineers and experts to tell engineers and experts. That's like the doctor you had on. He is a trained doctor. And so how can I tell, okay, you make me the Minister of Health. So how could I tell a doctor, just because I'm the Minister of Health, that I know more than him?
Right. And as far as you know, this is not related in any way, shape, or form to that renewable energy request for proposals from last year.
It may have some component, but what I'm talking about is the outright partnership or transferring of the Bahamian land and assets for how many years or whatever it is. The question is, we don't know. And what I'm saying is, if there's a document, let's kill all the hysteria.
Yeah.
Let's kill all the hearsay.
The agreement.
Let's kill all the frustration in BPL that's leading to sickness right now. Okay? Just put the document on the table and say, you know what, Kyle, all this hullabaloo, you as the union man and the other union man making, because it ain't just my union, the senior union feels the same way. So by the mouth of many witnesses, something be established. Both unions in BPL feel this has never happened in the history of BPL. I've never seen it like this.
Had you ever heard of Pike before?
Never heard of it.
Have you done any since then? Have you been looking it up? Have you looked up anything? I'm on their website right now.
I would tell you this much,
stuff.
right? I have not. And I don't care to. Because of the way it was presented, it tells me I shouldn't even waste my time. I'm not even going to find a way to justify something.
Can I read something from their website? What they say?
Sure, you go ahead.
It's the first time I've ever heard of them as well. Pike Corporation. With a 75-year track record, Pike Corporation is a leading provider of turnkey infrastructure solutions for electric and gas utilities, as well as telecommunications companies. It's a lot of different things there. On the electric side, Pike specializes in the engineering, construction, maintenance, and upgrade of transmission, distribution, and substation infrastructure. Our expertise ranges from traditional and renewable grid assets and storage to longer-range smart city planning and implementation. Pike is also a leader in emergency storm restoration. Pike provides similar turnkey engineering and construction solutions for telecommunications clients, supporting a full range of wireline and wireless infrastructure. All right.
Do they have a base? Like, are they Atlanta based? Are they?
I think some of them maybe possibly Carolina based. I stand to be corrected. But there's two things you said in there, right? Their words. You listen to the words. The key word turnkey. Turnkey means us and only us, our business, and we ain't worrying about your people. That's what turnkey means. We do something and then we hand it over to you. Your people are not involved. That's what turnkey means, okay? And then you talk about
North Carolina, yes.
Yeah, you talk about storm restoration. Well, where was Pike with their concern for the Bahamian people when we suffered hands at the worst natural disaster, most powerful storm in the history of mankind that struck two of our islands? Why didn't they come and show us what they could do then? You know why? Because they're not people-driven. They're profit-driven, okay? The Bahamian people, we will do what we have to do to restore our country. But are we sure when these people sign deals with us and we suffer situations like this that may not fit their bottom line, they might just up and take off like many of the other businessmen have done and left the Bahamian people holding the sugar honey iced tea end of the stick, okay? Many hotels are closed down and the owners took off and run and they left BPL and the Bahamian people to foot the bill and no one is holding them accountable. See, the situation we put ourselves in is the same situation that our leaders, not the workers, the decisions by our leaders have placed us in these positions, okay? And so when we start from the Immovable Properties Act that has placed Bahamians at a financial disposition or a financial setback as compared to the world with concerns to properties. A property in Pinewood Gardens is probably now $80,000-$90,000 plus VAT and lawyer fees, okay? Which used to be back then in the 80s maybe $3,000 or $4,000. Now, where we can find all this money? You ain't get to the house yet, man. And so what I'm saying is, when you look at successive things, we don't own our ports. They are in the hands of various companies. We, the Bahamian people, the only thing we have is Port of Ski, and look at this one, do something with that, right? We don't own the tourism industry. We don't own the banking industry. We don't own our one or two industry.
Was there anything about the number of people that would be seconded to this entity? Was any of that mentioned at all? Do you have any idea?
No absolute direct details, and that's why I said it left us with more questions than answers.
So I want to understand, people are going to be seconded from BPL to work directly for this entity.
That is what from my understanding, from my personal understanding, and the other union, they said that is their understanding as well.
So what specifically is Pike coming to address?
Well, they said transmission and distribution, modernization of
specifically what was said.
Yeah, of Nassau first.
Okay.
Right?
Not was generation said as well? Generation as well?
Yeah, see, if BPL is this situation where they say bleeding money and can't do this and can't do that, then where Pike can get money from? What I trying to figure out, if we, the Bahamian people, right, there was a time that BPL was extremely profitable. So we have to go back and find out what that model was that kept it profitable. So if BPL is just bleeding money out and can't handle it, what is Pike going to do, right, by spending money? You say they're bringing all of their equipment and their people. Well, how are they going to make money when we can't? How are they going to be paid? Who is going to pay them from the distribution end that makes no money?
So those workers coming in to train BPL workers? I really want to understand.
Do we know that they are trained?
I want to understand.
I can tell you this much. If I was a business owner, I try to find the cheapest labor to maximize my bottom end. I can almost assure you our linesmen and the certificates and the awards are right there in BPL to show you have won international awards for their abilities to do work. We are City and Guilds of London trained. They've been to all of these universities and did these courses, just like those people, right? Some of our people leave to go to the States and work. So when there's disasters throughout the Caribbean, we export our linesmen to go and help build Caribbean nations through the CARILAC agreement or whatever they got going on. We have linesmen that can do international level work. So don't tell me you got to bring in, which is alleged that there's 75 plus work permits waiting probably to be signed off on. We don't even have 75 linesmen in the Bahamas. What a joke.
Were you there during the Power Secure era?
Yes, sir, I was.
Does this sound different from that? Is it
absolutely different?
Tell us why it's different.
From what I understand, Power Secure was a management company,
right?
With credibility to go into the international market to secure funding for what is needed for the company. Correct? Did you see any controversy over it? Did you see the unions in the hullabaloo over that Power Secure thing? It was no issue because they were only coming in using their muscle and reputation to help the Bahamian people, right? So in other words, they were still working for us. What I'm saying is these deals are telling me I am going. No one was seconded to that company. That word never came up. These people brought in highly skilled management, and the problem and the issue with them bringing the management was for the fact that they wanted to lend security to the funding that they were going to address, right? And so I respect that. If you want me to put my reputation on the line to bring you in a certain amount of money to get the thing done, that's fine. You have to manage in that regard and keep certain secrets of your company within the company. And so we understand that, right? But these people ain't just coming for the coat suit jobs. They come in for the wrench and jackhammer jobs too.
Yeah, BPO was still doing the
in
work.
this partnership,
with
yes.
Power Secure.
Yes, we were doing the work.
They're coming to do the work to train
the Power Secure
quotation marks
in no
you
which
all.
way. See, Brother Strachan, I don't want anyone to think that we are just out there making noise. But there's legitimate concerns when you see a lady crying, right, in tears, wondering if she has, and this is a manager, if she has a future within this year with the company. When you have parents calling you, single parents, males and females, what to do with my children because I'm trying to secure some funds now to send them to school. And I have to tell them, I cannot answer your question. That's a decision you're going to have to pray about. I say, well, the short thing is always COB, but if you ain't got no job, or these people do anything we don't know they come to do. We might not even be able to afford COB. We don't know. See, Brother Strachan, why are we not looking for partners for our health industry to bring in their expertise and their funding to help advance the health industry? There's money to be made in that industry too. We could look for partners there. Why can't we look for partners for education, to advance the education of our country, to make, why is it we always going after the infrastructure? The infrastructure of your country is the sovereignty of your country. We are at war. Let me tell you why I say that. Anytime there's a war, the first thing the enemy would go after is your infrastructure. They take out your electricity, they take out your water, they take out your telecommunications. Bahamians, we are at war to keep our country because they are going after our infrastructure. They already take down the mighty BTC. They're coming for the mighty BPL.
Okay. We got a call earlier. We're going to get to these other calls you're calling it, but a very well-known party supporter called in and say that Bahamians can't do it, cannot manage BPL. You don't have the expertise. This is why it's in the state it's in, and we need all the international help we can get.
Well, Dwight,
what do you say to that?
I want to say that party supporter, you just damned your party, and I hope you don't name that party, because if you tell me Bahamians can't do it, well, I would think that your party leaders are Bahamians, and you're just telling the Bahamas to not put any faith in your party leadership. And I'm saying, put faith in our Bahamians. But you as a party supporter are going to call or text in the show or do whatever to say, have no faith in a Bahamian. You are a disgrace to this nation. And as a Bahamian, I say that. I believe in Bahamians. And I believe in our Prime Minister. And I believe God has gifted him and put him here as leader for such a time as this to deal with these type of issues. And so how dare you say that Bahamians are not good enough? They're saying you're not good enough for the radio. Well, let's get foreign radio hosts. Let's get foreign everything then. Okay? You are a disgrace to say that Bahamians are not good enough. Shame on you.
Texter saying something similar. Kyle, you keep saying let Bahamians run it and manage it, but when was the last time you all made a profit at BPL?
Okay, that's very well and fine. What I'm saying is the political people these pundits would call in and say, I'm not going to be distracted from the message. What guarantee is that the foreign is going to turn a profit from it? What guarantee of anything we have? We're a nation, we're still a young nation. We're 50 years old and a nationhood that is still quite young. We are a growing nation. But look at BTC. BTC is proof that we can. It was built by us, for us, it was profiting us, it was doing well, it was making money, it was providing the treasury, and we still sold it. BPL at one point, or BEC, was doing the same. But through much interference, these things happen. And we sold BTC, and look at the disaster it is. It ain't generating much for us now either. Listen, we ain't a perfect world.
Well, they're saying we get more money from it.
Okay, well, how many foreigners
have
come here and opened businesses that failed and left? Okay, they could fail too.
Would the management company be sheltered from the politics of operating BPL? I mean, if the politics is a part of what's keeping everything the way it is, if there is this management company, if it is Pike, they come in to do whatever they're doing, does that remove the political influence, in your opinion?
I don't know. See, we don't know the details. That's what I keep saying, okay? And so take off the red and yellow and dark colored shades, right? Take off these rose colored and yellow colored shades and whatever color, and look at life as a born Bahamian. You know what? We've had Bahamians that have been in outer space, into the stratosphere. We have Bahamians that climb on Everest. We had Bahamians that have played in the Winter X Games. We don't even have no snow here. And Bahamians skateboarding and doing stuff in the snow. We have Bahamians who have been #1 draft picks, multiple, not even one or two. And I wouldn't talk about lottery picks. We have multiple. And we have multiple NBA championships as Bahamians, okay? We have NFL championships. We have Major League Baseball champions. One of the hottest baseball players in the world is our Jazz Chisholm. He even appearing on the front cover of video games. Very few international players have appeared on the front cover of these baseball and MLB video games. He's an icon, okay? Let's not pretend like Bahamians are jokes. We have Bahamians training people around the world in the highest universities, in England, across the United States. Some of the greatest chefs in the world, world-renowned, are our very own Bahamian people. You all don't dumb yourself down to big up for it. Man, just stop that foolishness.
Carlos, we'll get to you in a second. Okay, so let me ask you. Last year was a tough year. People's bills doubled, tripled, quadrupled, right? And people are still angry with the frequency of the outages.
Yes.
And lots of challenges. We know BPLA talk about it all the time. So a lot of people, the words, the language that you're hearing from the Prime Minister and the Minister of Energy and like, this sounds great. Lower bills, more reliable service, more efficient. Clearly, this is what the public wants to hear. If this is the way it can be done, Kyle Wilson, why shouldn't we, the Bahamian people, want this?
I'm not saying we don't want it. I want it. I want lower light bills. I want all of these things, right? But I'm saying it's a right way to do it, and transparency is the order of the day. All I'm saying is, if it is what you say it is, then show us what it is. You could kill all of this quite easy by just putting the documents to the Bahamian people. And I even say, even with that, I'm still offended that you didn't put us to the table, right, to really question the validity and to even see who these persons are, right, and for us to talk to them about the components. See, we signed an MOU, I'm not talking for fun. They do have an obligation to us based on what they signed. An MOU was signed by the current administration when they were in opposition. I stood with the then Prime Minister and shook his hand while negotiating under the last administration for a contract, putting that contract at risk to welcome in this very Prime Minister and his leadership team. I hide, I jump out after the victory. I put myself out there, welcome them in, and I want them to succeed. I'm not against them. I am just against this deal and how it appears. And that's all I'm saying. I support the Honorable Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis. And I want him to be brave on behalf of the Bahamian people, right? And if it's not good for us, do what is right, Prime Minister. That's all I ask,
Was there any timeline mentioned as to when there be more forthcoming with information?
No timeline has been mentioned. See, all of this is uncertainty. And uncertainty leads me to make guesses or educating as to what is happening. What, if it's so good, why are you not? And I want to say to the party supporters and all of you partners out there, why don't you ask to see it too? And say, I saw it, right? If they don't show it to me, they can show it to you then, because you all know everything. All right? And so say, show it to me, Prime Minister, I could go back and shove it in the union man's face. But until then, I will stay the course. And I will fight. Like Selena say, if you don't fight for your Bahamas, you don't deserve to have it. This isn't about no union per se and benefits or we fighting for. You hear me talk about money and I want to, all I want to know that there is a future for me and my children's children and your children's children too. What am I saying that is wrong?
Texters here are saying that this is what you'll get for signing that MOU with the opposition at that time. What do you say to them? Who say that?
Well, out of the frying pan, sometimes into the fire, because there was much controversy, and I felt the same way under the last administration, and I would dare anyone to tell me I did not stand up and stand up strong, okay? Because I had 2 demonstrations, or 4 demonstrations actually, under the last administration with concerns to Wadzilla and the Shell deal and not doing the same very thing. Okay, so they're saying specific to nobody. My stick has no color. I only see the colors of our Bahamian flag. I pledge my allegiance to the flag, to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas for which it stands.
Let's get these calls in really quickly. Caller, good morning. You're on Morning Blend Business. We're talking with Kyle Wilson with BEWU. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
Kyle, how you doing, my fellow unionist?
I'm blessed. Good morning. How you doing, man?
Yeah, see, Kyle, I got a throw a little bit of licks on you, too. Even though I agree with you 110%.
Show them, brother.
Dwight, you could have shortened this conversation because Kyle already tell the Bahamian people he ain't know nothing. He wasn't invited for nothing. But they came one day. They came for BTC, and nobody stood up for us. One day they came for somebody else. Nobody stood up for them. Now they coming for you guys. You understand? As Bahamians, we need to Article 24.1. We need to galvanize ourselves. We need to stop this party thing, whatever it is, and as nationals, we need to come together and support one another. Now, you're Lex Card. You're a union man. Unions and governments are like day and night. One looking to see what they could keep from the union looking for what they could get from the government. That is how that's supposed to operate. Without unions in this country, we wouldn't have anything or get anywhere where we are now. Everything that's going on, you're supposed to know because you have the members. It's only 30-something of them. You got hundreds of members. If they freaking out, do like what Keita Archer and Thomas Bassi and them used to do, walk off. You ever see you get too close to a war test and you don't get sting? Well, that's what the union, you got to use your sting. You understand? And stop compromising with these people. Now, you said the company that you are bandying around is Pike. But you as the union president don't even know Pike was in Elutra and Abaco.
I don't know.
Doing work.
I didn't know that, sir.
But you're supposed to know that as the union chief.
Only God has ever known.
Wow.
So
they,
you
they
need to
dancing,
sit
but that's what
down
I'm
to the
saying.
table.
They dancing around the union.
So if that's the case, then put it out there. Right. Why not say it?
Listen, they can dance as much as they want. You ever see you force somebody to come to something? Well, if they want to dance outside and don't come in, then you do what you got to do as union members, and union and staying, and they coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the union is all about.
Yes, sir.
You got to get them to come to you. Go back in the day with Clifford Dial and them. What they do? They sting.
Okay.
But anyway, thanks for taking my call. You need to be up on your facts, man.
And thank you.
All right, well, what does it mean if they were, if they are, they've been? What does that mean? Does that
Well,
mean?
BPL has a right. The record is that they have a right to manage the company. And they do business with a lot of companies. I have worked shoulder to shoulder with foreigners from Lincoln Diesel in Bimini and M&E. We work with them. We're not saying they're not welcomed here. We work with them. We try to steal their expertise. I try to work with them and see what they could do, what I can't do, and steal it from them, right? To keep it here. And so it's good sometimes to work along with them.
Right.
I want to work with them, but not for them.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So if we need Pike here to show us some things, come show us a thing or two. But you can't tell me, give it to them and you go work with them. Even though you say it's not a sale, it's a strategic partnership. So in other words, they're still buying in and they're receiving monies for an investment, okay? And so if I come to your house and I put the groceries in the cupboard, I have a right to turn on your stove, just like you, because you have a right to my groceries. I have a right to your stove, okay? So I bought in to your home by bringing in some goods. I've invested. So that makes me somewhat of an owner because I have an investment.
Okay, let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
All right, morning to your guest.
Morning, sir.
I have to correct the last caller who mentioned say we didn't stand up for BTC. We did stand up for BTC. There was a big brouhaha about BTC. The man still sell it. I am a firm believer, and I always say this. When you allow foreign control of your communications in a country and your power, you have almost lost your country. Foreign means anything foreign to the government. There is no way a country should allow its telecommunications industry and its power grid to be owned by foreign, controlled by foreigners. No way. Never should happen nowhere. The minute you do that, you allow your country to go. You lost control of your country. And then even if they were to do that, you know what's going to happen? These people can hold this country hostage. You cannot allow such a thing. They already allow BTC to go. Now they're trying at BEC. Well, let me tell you something. Some things I learned. The government, BTC is in trouble, as was said earlier, about BTC being profitable years ago. BTC get in trouble because, number one, the government don't pay no light bill. The government do not pay no light bill. All the time in the nighttime you driving around, see all these government officers, light on in almost every room, air conditioning blowing, all these rest of stuff. The government don't pay no light bill. Another thing is that when BEC got to purchase all these equipment, purchase all the fuel, purchase all these things, the government still turn around and charging them duty and freight and everything to go along with it. That's one of the reasons why BTC in the red. And then, of course, don't forget that they talk about that list of persons who didn't have to pay light bill would get stopped from the last administration. That's been going on for years. We only learned about it from the last administration. I mean, people bill $300,000 on all of this outstanding and don't pay.
Okay, caller, thank you so much. A lot, a lot going on. I'm on their website. It's okay.
And and when I look at someone give me a presentation, right, and I'm not trying to be funny in no which way, but I would say 99% of the person that I saw on that presentation didn't look like us. They look like a whole different kind of people. In their skin tone and their hues wasn't nowhere remotely Bahamian.
All right, fascinating stuff here. Pike Corporation, if that is indeed the company. Okay, so
I'm not even giving them free advertisement, man. Listen, whatever deal it is, you put it before the Bahamian people, and you say what it is. Because see, they could put all kind of funny things on their website now, in response to what's going on here. All we want to know is you put it to the table, you show it to the Bahamian people by coming respecting the union's voice, showing us what you agree to. If it's something signed, show it to us. And if you ain't signed nothing yet, be honest with us. Okay.
So you didn't get any hard copies of anything when you left the meeting? It was just the PowerPoint that you saw? They didn't give you a pamphlet?
I left worse than I came in. Okay, mentally,
nothing, not even one sheet of paper, nothing?
So I left mentally disturbed. I came in peace of mind and left mentally disturbed. To be honest with you, as to say, well, what I can do with these people? These people put their trust in me to be their leader. Lord, what am I to do to ensure that they have a safe future? Because if I do nothing, see, so Edmund Burke says, evil prevails when good men do nothing. I rather fail doing good than to succeed doing nothing.
Well, hopefully there'll be some more talks coming to the table and having conversations.
Well, I think it's a bit too late because they didn't make up their minds. So what I'm saying is, show respect to the Bahamian people and said, okay, we made a boo-boo. They can make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. What I'm simply saying is, we made a boo-boo. Let's start from scratch.
All right, we got less than 2 minutes left. Let me just ask you. There was a sick out yesterday. We're told. What do you know about that? Was it organized by the union?
Listen, as union president, I don't throw no rock and hide my hand. Okay, I'll throw it to your face. Whatever I have to do, I ain't clowning around. I would let it know it be done. Those workers are frustrated. And they have had enough, and it's hysteria going on. People, you can see a lot of that probably because people don't even care no more because they didn't say you didn't give me away. And there's nothing the leadership is doing to say to the workers, here's the black and white to end the hysteria. As every day goes on, and you are not putting this before the Bahamian people in black and white, even though I didn't reject it, right? Maybe it'll bring calm. I can still fight my fight of saying, I as a Bahamian, I don't want it sold. But to calm the issues in BPL, present it to the people and show them what you're saying is true. And that would take away plenty thunder from me, man. I can still make noise at the union man and say, I want Bahamian.
Yeah.
But you would end plenty of that stereo by showing the Bahamian people what you did. You understand? We want a PowerPoint presentation. We want the actual black and white documents that you would have tabled and worked with this company with. Okay, you didn't tell the Bahamian people about Pike, and you don't want to tell about RFP. Well, just RFP as far as I know, concerning this issue, okay?
Yeah.
And so if they keep talking about RFP, they saying, and their pundits saying RFP. Well, if there was no RFP, their pundits and political people saying it, then put it back to an RFP and the proper processes according to the laws of the Bahamas, the IRCA Act, and the Electricity Act, and make sure anything that's done going forward, follow. See, this is what happens, when you don't follow what is right. We cannot tell the Bahamian young man out there, follow the law and do what's right or you get locked up.
Let me ask you
then
quickly.
We do different as leaders. No, wrong.
Getting some reports that there's some issues with the Wärtsilä engines again. There might have been some challenges there. What can you tell us? What's going on? What's really happening?
Well, I would hope to God not, because this will lend more frustration to a already bad situation. So I'm not aware of anything going on, but I have been hearing for the last year that there's a lot of issues concerning what Zilla and the engines, and we've heard it publicly, and we've heard our very CEO on your show talking about these Zilla engines. So if you tell me there's something going wrong, I would tend to believe you, but I'm personally not aware, and so those questions you need to put forward to the leadership. But I want you to see, they are telling you that successive governments, when one comes in, they telling you the last one messed up, and the next one. So what we need now is a national development plan by all parties involved, all stakeholders, almost every behemoth, that we're going to develop a plan for BPL and sign into legislation that no one can change or divert from this plan. And this is a plan made by both sides. So there could never be no hullabaloo, and you can never use BPL for a political point. That we have all agreed. You know, I think it was 1979 or thereabout in Jamaica, there was a lot of chaos going around in the country over politics. And Bob Marley called what he called the Peace and Love. He had his Peace and Love concert. And he called the leaders up and he made them hold hands and say, listen, let's put an end to all of this foolishness. You all hold hands and show the nation that you can work together even though you have differences of opinions. And I'm asking our leaders, you all come together for the best interest of the Bahamas and let us, not no PLP or no FNM or no COI or no Fringe Party or anyone who have their ideas, let us come together as a nation, right? As a nation and decide the pathway that we should go with our utilities and come up with ideas and ideas that no one can divert from. Let's make a pathway for Bahamians that we could say from 10 years from now, this is where we should be with this entity.
Okay. Cal Wilson, we're out of time, but thank you so much. I'm sure you will keep us posted on what's going on, and we're all waiting to hear from the government on where they see this going and what the plan is.
Yes. And I just say again, we can end this all by just putting forth the truth in black and white to the Bahamian people. So until then, the hysteria will continue, and it's nothing. No one could. You can't tell me. I must believe you because you say it. Well, VTC has left a bad taste. They say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I will not be put to shame this time.
Okay, Cal Wilson with the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dwight.
We're out of time. Dean, thank you very much.
Thank you too. Great day.
I'll see you again soon. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Pick up today's National Guardian for morning for the business section, brought to you by Seafowl, growing wealth for future generations. And got to pick up today's Grand Bahama News as well. Some interesting stories in there today. Definitely. Everybody have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.